XRP Whales just bought 900 million XRP during the month of April. Now, I really actually wanted to fire up and record this video to rant about the Bitcoin bros and their lies, but every time I put Bitcoin in the title of a video, it doesn't do well. People just aren't interested in Bitcoin. And I'm going to explain why I'm frustrated with not only the Bitcoin bros. It was bad enough when they were lying, but now we have Senator Cynthia Lummis taking this to a whole nother level of absurdity today. But I did want to let everybody know that yes, the whales are accumulating XRP despite some retail noise, folks getting fudded out of their bags, giving up on XRP. Oh, if it doesn't go to $4 by this date, I'm out. Okay, the whales aren't. The whales just doubled down. Almost 1 billion XRP purchased by XRP whales during the month of April. So while everybody was freaking out about tariffs, I was buying. I know that the whales were buying. What were you doing? And I think it's going to pay off for those who did, or at least for the ones that held the line here, because we saw XRP got flushed out to $1.60 right at the beginning of April. That did not last long. We only had a few days under the $2 price target, and then that got bought back up, and here we are back above $2.20 right now for XRP. So XRP strength on display. The whales have been loading up, but I got to speak to these Bitcoin bros and their lies. It's getting absolutely ridiculous. So a couple days ago, we had the message was sent out, right? It's like the Bitcoin marketing scheme program, similar to a meme coin getting pumped up, right? The pump group gets activated, everybody apes in. Well, it's like same thing with the Bitcoin marketing plan. They send out the word and it's a lie, but all of the Bitcoin bros just run with it because that's what they do. And so I'm going to call out Jason Williams is this big Bitcoin bro, Maxi, and he usually puts out these like provocative tweets that, are kind of trolling. And I guess, we're not supposed to be taken serious in this space. We're just trolling around, memeing around, having fun, right? Even though they're trying to pitch the US government on buying their bags. It's like, how do you expect to be taken serious when you're out here trolling around, playing around? And what he said was that we were going to be selling off our gold to buy Bitcoin. That's unequivocally false. They were reporting that President Trump said that, he was down or supported us selling off gold to buy Bitcoin. Unequivocally false. Just not even close to being true. And so that was a lie. And I, responded to him and I said, this is unequivocally false on behalf of not just the Bitcoin community, but the entire crypto space. Can you guys please stop this nonsense? It's not good for us. He literally responds as if this is just a joke. We're not supposed to take this serious. It was just a joke. And he literally called me an autistic nerd. Okay, which is fine. You can call me whatever you want, right? I'm not going to get offended. You can call me whatever you want, any name you want. I thought it was funny to be called a nerd, right? I mean, I do get kind of nerdy on some things, on crypto for sure, on financial markets, absolutely. I did used to, game pretty tough back in the day. If I still gamed on COD, Call of Duty, I would absolutely wreck all you guys, just so you know. So I am kind of a nerd, I guess. As far as the spectrum, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But the point why I'm sharing this is because how are we supposed to be taken as, serious as an industry when these guys are putting words in President Trump's mouth? They're spreading lies that are just unequivocally false. It's not moving us forward. Now, it was bad enough when it was coming from the Bitcoin bros. This is what we expect. I should have known. They're trolling, they're messing around, and they don't want to be taken serious, I guess. And so that's fine. I should have known. But today, to double down on the stupidity and lies that they are sharing, Senator Cynthia Lummis shares this new initiative, another Bitcoin strategic initiative, and she comes out and says that President Trump supports it. President Trump supports us buying 1 million Bitcoin so that we can pay off our debt. Taking it one step further, she says that her Bitcoin strategic initiative is the only solution to our debt crisis. Okay, stop. Let's just stop the nonsense right now. We got to get a little bit more creative. And it really is not going to take much creativity to find other ways to pay down our debt. I mean, one just silly example would be the gold cards that President Trump and Howard Lutnick have rolled out, where you can pay, $5 million to get a, US gold card. And that's just one silly example of ways that we could pay down our national debt. There's plenty of different ways that we could pay down our national debt. Bitcoin, a Bitcoin strategic reserve, is definitely not the only solution to paying off the debt. So let's get that out of the way. It's not the only solution, but is it a solution at all? See, here's what's interesting. And when you actually run through this, okay, how is this practically actually, going to work? We're going to buy Bitcoin. Okay, great. That gets more Bitcoin on our balance sheet, but eventually we have to sell, right? Eventually we have to sell if we want to pay down the debt. I mean, maybe somebody will give us a loan. I guess this is another one of their creative ideas. We could launch Bitcoin bonds, which I can't take that serious either, because one, I don't care for a U.S. government bond that's paying me 4% while inflation's running up the same or worse. Right? That's what we call pissing in the wind. You're not getting anywhere making 4% on your money when inflation's running double that. But let alone a Bitcoin bond. Why would I want that deal, right? That's ridiculous too. But the idea that we're going to use Bitcoin to pay off the debt is utterly absurd. Now, we already have Bitcoin. And I want to be very clear. I'm a fan of holding our Bitcoin, right? We have Bitcoin. We've already seized it. We've never had to buy any Bitcoin. And I'm sure we'll be able to see some more Bitcoin from other criminal activity that Bitcoin's used to facilitate in the future. They don't use XRP, they go use Bitcoin, they go use Monero, they go use these other cryptocurrencies, which is an interesting data point in and of itself. But the point being, right, you gotta sell the Bitcoin to pay off the debt one way or another. So President Trump has never mentioned buying more Bitcoin, period, full stop. All of these comments and articles and talk of, using Bitcoin and buying more Bitcoin stem from the comments made by Bo Hines. Bo Hines is the executive director of digital assets for the White House or something like that. Bo Hines, went on Eleanor Terrett's podcast and he shared that we might, sell gold to buy Bitcoin. And then it starts getting circulated around. And he said that we have other creative ideas to buy more Bitcoin. But you have never, ever heard President Trump, you've never heard it come out of his mouth that we're going to buy more Bitcoin, that we're going to sell gold to buy Bitcoin. Never. You have heard him say that maybe we'll write a little Bitcoin check, a little crypto check to pay down our debt. So you have heard him say that we will sell Bitcoin. All right, let me pick up where I left off. My phone got a little bit hot sitting there on the dash, but as I was saying, you have never heard President Trump say that we should sell gold to buy Bitcoin. You've never heard him say that we should buy Bitcoin at all. You've only heard him mention directly from his mouth that we might sell Bitcoin to pay down our debt. So I think on behalf of the entire industry, like even if I was in Bitcoin, I would be pissed if I held Bitcoin and this is how I was being represented by the Bitcoin bros, by Senator Cynthia Lummis. We got to do better. Bo Hines, we cannot put words in President Trump's mouth. Now, if he wants to come out and support this, that's fine, and we can have that conversation. I'm in favor of us having a strategic Bitcoin reserve along with other digital assets. I think that XRP, along with a few other utility cryptocurrencies, could serve our government and address our debt, currency, and liquidity crisis a lot better than Bitcoin. And just like you're seeing, whales continue to accumulate XRP. In my opinion, the reason why the Bitcoin marketing machine is putting out these messages is this is the last attempt of getting exit liquidity for Bitcoin. If you can't get the government on board, who else do you have left? Retail skipping over Bitcoin, they're going into meme coins and XRP, other utility cryptocurrencies. The interest in Bitcoin is waning. The upside potential on Bitcoin is very limited. So from an ROI perspective, it doesn't make sense. From addressing the debt, currency, and liquidity crisis, doesn't make sense. We could sell off a little bag of Bitcoin and that might put a little dent, but we have a $36 trillion problem on top of $150 trillion of unfunded liabilities. I think speaking about selling Bitcoin to pay down some of this is actually a waste of time. It's not going to make much of a difference. But on behalf of the entire cryptocurrency industry, I think that the Bitcoin bros, Senator Cynthia Lummis, and everybody else needs to stop the cap, as the kids would say, stop the nonsense, and let's talk about real solutions to our debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. In my opinion, XRP is the best. I have my bias, but I don't want the government to buy my bags. I don't want the government to buy XRP from Ripple. I've long stated, I think, just like we've heard from Howard Lutnick in the Vadis Grandeur relationship that Ripple could potentially have with our treasury, we give our services to the government for free. I think that Ripple should do so. And I also think that they should give some XRP to our government and our treasury for free, because it eliminates all arguments, all discussion, all debate about how we acquire it, about whether or not we should. If you just show up on the government's doorsteps to the Treasury Department and you say, here you go, here's 1 billion XRP, here's 5 billion XRP, let's put it to work. And I also think that Ripple could, help out our Treasury Department. We're just hearing back from Elon and Doge about how we're sending out billions and billions of dollars. We have no idea where it's going. How do you solve that? You put it on DLT. Does it have to be XRP? No. But in my opinion, what checks off the boxes and addresses the debt, currency, and liquidity crisis? No other asset like XRP in combination with gold. You got real utility cryptocurrencies and you got real commodities. This is what backs the new system. This is what runs the new system. It's not going to be Bitcoin. And, even if you want to support Bitcoin, I think that the way that they are going about it is an incredible disservice. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. I hope everybody has a great Friday. I had a lot of fun last night. We did give away 1,000 XRP that has been delivered. We had 2 lucky winners of 500 XRP. That was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing other fun stuff as well. We'll be back tomorrow morning for our Discord weekly call at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. You sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord if you want to get in on that. Everything else at ZachRector.com. On the way out, if you could smash it, I'd greatly appreciate you, and we'll see you.